Hi everyone, welcome to the third episode of Things to Make You Go. Today's episode topic is something that's very close to my heart, and it can be summed up by an idiom. I think it's an idiom, and that is sticks and stones may break my bones, but words could never hurt me. So, I want to deal with two categories of words, and that is the spoken word and the written word. So the first category or grouping of persons I want to treat with would be parents. So some parents, not all, some parents are very irresponsible with the things that they say about their children and the things that they say to their children. I have met many children, adult children and minor age children, who break down in tears because they are in pain because of the things that were said to them by their parents. And of course, for those who would have tried or attempted to make their parents accountable, the response was either they dismissed what they said and they were kind of alluding to the fact that they didn't use a stick, they didn't use a stone, and words don't hurt, so what's your real problem kind of story. However, I would like to highlight to those parents that words hurt just as much and possibly in some cases even more. So let me deal with those who would have the even more experience than if you physically beat them. So Gary Chapman developed this thing called the love languages. And one of the love languages would be words of affirmation. So those persons experience love through the use of words of affirmation. So words that speak good or well about them or something they have done. Those persons, when you use words as your form of taking them down or as your weapon of choice, it destroys them and hurts them in a way like no one else. And the fact is, as a parent, you have the responsibility to nurture. And to nurture means to help grow, to tend to. And to help grow, you don't help somebody grow by spewing venom into them and over them. You don't. So when you jump up and bawl how your child is a waste of time, the worst thing you ever come across, the worst decision you make, worthless, you say things like "I'm fed up of you," all these types of things. Those things find rich soil in your child's mind and your child's heart. And if it is the person who is supposed to know me the best, according to just life, because it's the person that would have encountered you first and supposed to spend the most amount of time with you, tending to you, perceives you in that way, then you begin to believe it. The only time I have seen that not happen to that degree would be in two sets of persons. One, where they have other sources of authority figures in their lives who are speaking different things into their minds and their hearts, so it is able to push back or refute what you would have said. Or the child who is very strong-willed. So in other words, they rebel naturally. So in other words, you call me a dog, I will refuse to bark, even though I think I can or have the ability to. Yes? So we have to be, as parents, we have to be so careful. Now understand, this is not a space of condemnation, it's a space of education. And I am also imploring parents to reflect on their parenting and their practice. Because I have been there. I've been pushed to the point whereby And my mouth, not easy. The kinds of things that I want to say and the kinds of things that I'm thinking. And there's an ancient and traditional belief that if you tell them that's what they are being now, that it will cause them to change their behavior, and that's not true. It's not true for everybody, and I don't believe that as parents we know our children's minds and hearts enough to be able to take the gamble that if we be nasty to them, it will help them get themselves right. That's just me. I don't believe that we have that kind of knowledge per se, right? And some people may be starting to protest while they look at this and say, no, but it worked for me. And I will ask you, did it? Did it work for you without causing you a tremendous amount of pain? And if I say to you there was another way to get you on track without berating you and belittling you, and I am sure that, in a moment of truth, you might say, if they could have done it differently, I would have really liked them to try. So the parents out there, be responsible with your words, because your words hurt just as the sticks and the stones and the belt too. The next group of persons is teachers, boy. Hear this now. I hear some things, and even some teachers in my own life, the kinds of things they have said to me, I'm like, are you for real, miss? Are you for real, sir? And again, it has the same effect with the child. We have to be responsible with our words. You can't use the reason, and note, I'm not even saying excuse. You can't use the reason that it was in the moment, the heat of the moment. Meaning you should never go there. You should never go there. Your words as a teacher, you have the responsibility, and that's why teaching and the decision to become a teacher and the not to become a parent is such a great responsibility. Your aim should be to, when you hear that you are, or you make decisions, you're going to become a parent and you are going to become a teacher, your aim should be to evaluate your ability to self-regulate. And what I mean by that is to be able to acknowledge your emotions, but not have them control you. When you reach the point whereby you just saying wherever it is come to your mind, or wherever you feel on your heart, because you're hurting people. You're hurting people, and if you hurting, well, then you have the responsibility to go and see about your pain. But you don't have permission to spread your pain. You really don't. You genuinely don't. Too many of the things that we are seeing on the societal level, that we are labeling ills and we are citing all kinds of other reasons for, come from or has a root in the things that people would have said to us. Some of us get potty mouths. You know what a potty is? A potty is where long time you used to have next to your bed because you had a latrine or a toilet outside and you didn't want to go outside to use the toilet. So you had a potty where you would be able to do whatever you need to do during nighttime. Some of us have a potty mouth because we had persons say things to us. So in other words, it was our response to the word. So look, one of us here, right? That's why it is my mouth was so hot. But we have to appreciate, just as how it hurt us, it hurt others, and it's not right. And we will just keep passing it on. And it's not something you want to pass on or should want to pass on. So the next group of persons that I want to call to order would be those dealing with the written word. And that is the gangster typists and them. And I say gangster typists because if you meet them face to face, the kind of evil and thing that they're writing or typing away, they can't say it. So they're only gangsters when they type it. My thing is that it's the same thing with the spoken word. You shouldn't give yourself liberty, because that's when you feel most courageous to belittle and berate and degrade someone. And well, don't ask for those who will, when they are being called to order, say, well, it's not something that they really believed. Well, to me, that's even worse. Because you just trying to cause somebody pain for your jollies. That's where we reach. That is where we reach. And as we go along in life, we realize that we need to be more responsible. There's so many other things happening in our world that cause pain, mayhem, suffering, tribulation to our living experience. Let's try to work on this one thing that causes the same things I mentioned. So I want us to appreciate that that's a lie. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never. Words hurt. They cut deep. For some people, they actually chart futures. I'll flip it on the other side. Imagine how many testimonies, how many life stories, how many success stories we have heard where persons would have said that the things that were said to them impacted on them so greatly, meaning the positive things that were spoken into their lives were so powerful that it lifted them out of all the adversities that they were facing and catapulted them into moving towards the successful life that they had, the experience that they had now, the role that they held in society. So if it has the power to do that, to propel persons to do good, it is quite obvious that it will have the power to shut things down. So please, I implore greatly, as I said, and I highlight parents and teachers, but I know that there are many other authority figures or many persons who use their words to maim, to destroy, to hurt. But those two particular groupings of persons, because you have the responsibility of forming persons, I am begging you, be responsible. And know that yes, sticks and stones do break bones, but words can also hurt me. So thanks guys for tuning in to another episode of Things to Make You Go. See you next time.